Welcome to KYC Media News. We bring you the greatest and most up-to-date news of the day, and we invite you to stay tuned.
In India, there have been protests. Gunshots a Sikh temple in Kabul. Gunshots a Sikh temple in Kabul. A few impacts and gunfire hit a Sikh sanctuary in the Afghan capital, Kabul, on Saturday, a Taliban official and witnesses said. Abdul Nafi Thakur, a Taliban-named representative for the Interior Ministry, affirmed that there had been an assault on the sanctuary, saying a projectile shoot injured two individuals from the Sikh people group. A vehicle bomb exploded in the space minutes after the fact, however, caused no losses, Thakur said. As per the Indian Ani News office, somewhere around one individual was killed, yet this has not been affirmed. Recordings via virtual entertainment showed dark smoke radiating from the sanctuary in Kabul's Bagh-e-Bala area. Gunfire can likewise be heard in the recordings. There was no quick case of liability regarding the assault. In any case, a local subsidiary of the radical Islamic State, bunch known as the Islamic State in Khorasan province, has of late expanded assaults on mosques and minorities the nation over. An assault guaranteed by the IS at one more Sikh sanctuary in Kabul in 2020 killed 25. The gathering is viewed as the best security challenge confronting the country's Taliban rulers, who have been cinching down on IS in eastern Afghanistan since holding on to control of the country in August last year. There are around 200 Sikhs presently living in Afghanistan subject to the authority of the Islamist Taliban. This contrasts in the apportion of 1 million followers of the Confidants who lived in the country during the 1970s. US and its allies are preparing for a long war in Ukraine. The United States is prepared to move Ukraine in the contention with Russia as long as possible, The Washington Post revealed, referring to organization authorities who say such plans have been underway for quite a while. A senior State Department staff member let the Post on Friday know that President Joe Biden might want to see an inevitable arranged end to the conflict, voicing trust that floods of Western arms shipments to Kiev and an unforgiving approvals crusade on the Russian economy would debilitate Moscow's capacity to battle. While it's surely difficult, we're not unquestionably glossing over that. As far as how to explore these blustery waters, our directing light is that the result of Russia having the option to accomplish its maximalist request is downright awful for the United States, genuinely horrendous for our accomplices and partners, and genuinely awful for the worldwide local area, the anonymous authority. They added that the Biden group had examined the chance of an extended struggle with worldwide overflow impacts even before February, during when American authorities over and over anticipated an inevitable assault by Russia on its neighbor. However, support for the Ukrainian government has been exorbitant for Washington, which has committed more than $50 billion in different types of help since March. The Post noticed that Biden will risk a worldwide downturn and mounting hunger to keep Russia from accomplishing its goals. Talking during a new gathering in Brussels, where authorities from many countries met to examine ways of promoting support, Kiev, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin expressed, "We're here to dive in our prods," adding, "By cooperating, we can assist Ukraine with guarding itself from Russia's savage attack, and we can reinforce Ukraine's security for the long stretch." General Mark Milley, the director of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, has comparatively expressed that the threats could be extremely extended, and may persevere for years. "This is an exceptionally expanded struggle that Russia has started, and I feel that NATO, the United States, Ukraine, and the partners and accomplices that are all supporting Ukraine will be engaged with this for a long while," the general said, however noticed that it was far-fetched Moscow could be prevented from its points shy of a U.S. military sending, a choice he said he wouldn't prompt. In India, there have been protests. Brutal fights against another military enrollment plan in India erupted Friday as furious young people set on fire basically 12 traveler trains, vandalized government workplaces, transports and police vehicles, and consumed tires on expressways and hindered them in many states. This follows fights which ejected the nation over Wednesday, a day after Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party drove government reported the Agnipath, Path of Fire in Hindi, plan to select people ages 17 to 21 for the military on a 4-year contract. As of not long ago, new non-commissioned enlisted people have served for a normal of 17 years. A large number of the dissidents were young fellows who tried to military professions as a way out of destitution. They conveyed Indian banners and yelled, "Roll back Agnipath. We don't need transient positions. We need extremely durable positions." The fights quickly spread Thursday after it was reported that the Agnipath enlistment would start this month. Viciousness arrived at Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and different states. The dissidents faced contributed conflicts with security powers many states, and no less than one youth was killed when police terminated on dissenters who put a match to a traveler train in the southern province of Telangana. The dissidents were generally young fellows the nation over, yet in New Delhi a few ladies, for the most part from the Radical Understudy Association, had likewise joined the fights, requesting a rollback of the enlistment plan. A moderately aged train traveler kicked the bucket, clearly of a pressure-set-off coronary episode, after the train was set on fire by dissenters in the eastern territory of Bihar. Under the arrangement, around 46,000 warriors will be enrolled yearly, and toward the finish of the 4-year residency 25% of them will be held for longer terms, and the rest will be compelled to resign, the public authority declared. The people who lose their positions after the 4-year agreement will be offered a single amount of 1.1 million rupees, $14,100, yet not at all like other resigned military workforce, they won't get some other benefit. Numerous adolescents who are preparing in order to join the military said that they are frustrated with the plan. That's what they said, assuming they enlist in the military, they need to be in the gig until they resign and don't have any desire to be jobless again following 4 years. They are requesting that the public authority drop the Agnipath plan and resume enrollment through customary techniques. With 1.4 million staff, India's military is the world's second biggest, after China. Consistently, 50,000 to 60,000 young fellows join the powers looking for long-haul occupations. With no enlistment in the beyond 2 years on account of the pandemic, those disappointed job seekers have sent off the fights against the momentary enrollment plan. Ladies are utilized generally in non-combatant jobs, and 3% to 6% of those joining the powers are ladies. In numerous areas, the dissidents coordinated their outrage at the government administering party, BJP. In Bihar, which has seen the most far and wide viciousness in the beyond 2 days, dissidents vandalized and consumed workplaces of BJP and the homes of senior BJP pioneers, including state BJP boss Sanjay Jaiswal. Dissidents tossed stones at police, who shot poisonous gas shells at them. In the Aligarh region of Uttar Pradesh, a BJP-managed state, fighting young people vandalized and burnt a police station. Pictures circulated on TV showed that in many spots, police, who were far dwarfed by nonconformists, didn't act against the adolescents and were even pursued away by the stone-tossing dissenters. A cop from Samastipur in Bihar let VOA know what is going on was outside of our reach. China responds to the United States. Chinese Foreign Ministry Representative Wang Wenbin on Friday invalidated comments by U.S. envoy to China Nicholas Burns concerning China's dynamic zero-COVID approach. The justification for why China embraced the unique zero-COVID approach is that we put the 1.4 billion individuals' lives and well-being prior to whatever else, Wang told a press instructions, adding it is a demonstration of the administration reasoning of the CPC and the Chinese government, which is to give main concern to safeguarding individuals and their lives. He said while the typical future in a few created nations, for example, the United States, declined during the pandemic, China's typical future has consistently gone up as of late. China's COVID control measures are continually acclimated to more readily answer the most recent advancements in the COVID circumstance, which has shown to be successful, Wang said. Taking note of the general scourge measurements in China have been steady, Wang said China has actually managed infection transmission in Shanghai and different spots, where life and work are returning to typical. Realities have demonstrated that the current enemy of pestilence conventions can assist with accomplishing the powerful zero-COVID objective, Wang said, adding China's COVID strategy suits its public reality and can stand the trial of history. On account of China's science-based, exact and powerful pandemic avoidance and control measures, China has not just relieved the effect of the COVID on financial and social improvement as far as possible, yet accomplished consistent monetary development, Wang said. As per information delivered by the National Bureau of Statistics, China's economy has progressively risen up out of the shadow of COVID-19, with significant lists showing better execution in May.